It is a beautiful afternoon in Clifton, New Jersey. We are less than 15 miles from Manhattan's Central Park, near the heart of New York City. It's final round action of the Cognizant Founders Cup, and the scores have been quite low today at Upper Montclair Country Club in northern New Jersey. Ataya Titikun, this was for birdie to shoot 9 under on the day. What a remarkable round of golf. Trying to put some pressure on the front runners. Look at all those circles. At one point, there was a talk of a possible 59 on this par 72, but it would stall at the 15th. Angel Yin also putting together a hot round of golf. This for birdie at 9 to get within 1 of the pace. And Angel Yin, who has competed on 2 Solheim Cup teams, is reestablishing her presence on this grand stage in women's golf. Minjee Lee is leading the way, looking for career win number 7 on the LPGA Tour, and her first since winning her first major last season. Lexi Thompson trying to end a near 3-year winless drought. We have a lot of great golf in store for you this afternoon. We're going straight to the action on the course. Kelly Tillman alongside a major champion in Morgan Pressel. Tom Abbott also with us. Karen Stupples, another major champion, and Jerry Foltz as well. Good afternoon to you all. It is a gorgeous day for golf. Conditions have been quite soft on the course the last couple of days with a significant amount of rain falling. Right for scoring conditions, and Minjee Lee is trying to muster up some kind of momentum, Morgan, in this final round.
Well, she really hasn't been able to get anything going today. Bit of a good bogey on the last hole, Jerry.
That was a great bogey on the last. Just a few feet off the fairway here, so has to lay it back conservatively. But that's not too far from the area where most players, even in the fairway, lay it up to.
We will go 13.
Carlota Saganda here for a birdie. She's making a move today. The Spanish star who hasn't won for 6 years on the LPGA. And, oh, rejected. I mean, that was almost down into the hole for Saganda.
Wow.
7 under on the round.
We've seen some really severe lip outs this week. The way the holes are cut, I mean, the greens are in perfect condition and roll beautifully, but we've seen come all the way back at you.
Now take a look at this leaderboard. 2 of the top 10 players in the world are spearheading this competition. Minjee Lee, number 5, Lexi Thompson, number 9. CBS Sports and the LPGA Tour bring you the final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup, part of the season-long race to the CME Globe. Storied Upper Montclair Country Club plays host for the first time to an event that honors the 13 founding members of the LPGA Tour, the longest-running women's professional sports association in the world. Today's stars are reaping the benefits of these brave pioneers, this week playing for a $3 million purse and a piece of history on a venue that has hosted every one of the 3 major tours in golf. A lot of history for still a very young event, but it does honor this honorable group of women out to the 9th and the 2nd for Lexi Thompson.
Could have given it a go into 252 to the front, but there's water right, all kinds of trouble up there. Smartly, I think, laying this up, Morgan.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that can go wrong with the wayward shot into the 9th.
And once again, good afternoon. Kelly Tillman alongside a major champion in Morgan Pressel. Well, we have not had a lot of sunshine the last couple of days, but it came out just in time for the finish of this final round that was delayed by an hour this morning because of significant fog in the area, but you wouldn't know that by looking at the conditions now in this leaderboard. They need to make birdies to try to break away from this group that charged early, Morgan.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Finally, we've had a lot of cloud cover, a lot of moisture, which has made the golf course very soft and very playable compared to the major championship test that I think everybody thought that it was early in the week with significant winds. It's very calm, very playable, and Minjee has gotten off to a bit of a slow start, so she's allowed some of her chasers to come in. Angel Yin off to a good start. Of course, Ataya Titikun with the 63, another incredible final round from her this season on the LPGA Tour. But there's a lot of golf left to be played. 9.5 holes left, so we'll see what happens.
And all looking up to these founding women, these 13 pioneers years. The saying around here, the motto is act like a founder. And we have a lot of women in the race today who are trying to do just that.
Yeah, it's a very important, it's a meaningful phrase to me as well, having been certainly a longtime LPGA member, still an LPGA member, and, leave the tour in a better place than we found it. And obviously losing Shirley Spork just about a month ago, one of the 13 founders, a little bit of extra sadness over this event this week with her not being here for the first time. But I wonder if she sent us the sunshine today. I feel like maybe she did.
Her favorite color was yellow, wasn't it? That was the color donned by many players yesterday, practically every player in the field, in honor of the great Shirley Spork, who passed away on April 12th at the age of 94, shortly after being inducted into the LPGA Golf Hall of Fame. And we're at the ninth.
Third shots here. They're very friendly there. Look, all the golf balls pretty close together in the fairway.
Good cart golf here, even with 3.
And we always send our best wishes to Marlene Heggie, the only living founder of the LPGA Tour. Doesn't appear in public anymore, but is still a great fan of the LPGA and watching back in her home in California. So we send her our best regards.
All 3 players here right at 100 yards. A little tiny downhill lie for Lexi. Breeze picking up now for the first time today. It's out of the left, almost directly across the line. This is sand wedge. Carries 5 wedges, does Lexi Thompson. Pitching wedge, 2 gap wedges, a sand wedge, and a lob wedge. Only player I know that does that. And she's also one of the longest. Just a little right of the hole.
Should come back a little bit. General slope from back to front on this green, although it's one of the flatter putting surfaces. There are lots of humps and bumps in these greens. They take quite a lot of thought.
And up the 18th, the familiar bucket hat of Anna Davis, who at the age of 16 won the Augusta National Women's Amateur earlier this spring. Made her second cut in a row, being tested here, Morgan.
Very impressive, though, the way that she's played her first 2 LPGA events. Coming out, making the cut, she has a very bright future ahead of her.
Back to the ninth.
Minjee Lee with this great scene, Jerry.
Yeah, it is so nice to see. We expected the fans to show up in force for this event, but they have a great leaderboard and beautiful weather today. This too is sand wedge for Minjee Lee in search of the first birdie of the day. Pulled it just a little.
Don't want to go too far, and that may mean she won't be able to get the putter on it. So Minjee, just a 1-shot lead, the final round of the Cognizant Founders Club.
Hello, I'm Brian Humphreys, the Chief Executive Officer of Cognizant, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our 2nd annual Cognizant Founders Cup. As a Fortune 200 company and a global technology services leader, Cognizant is dedicated to creating a culture of diversity and inclusion across our organization of more than 340,000 associates. That's why we love partnering with the LPGA, which shares our commitment to investing in equal opportunity for everyone. Like the LPGA, we're resolved to help break barriers for women in technology and in sports. We're excited to be working once again with Girls Golf, a partnership between the LPGA and the US Golf Association. This national program offers a girl-friendly environment where young women can experience the fun of golf as they learn the game. Just as important, Girls Golf teaches the confidence and perseverance that will serve young women well throughout their personal and professional lives. A big thank you to the LPGA, the Upper Montclair Country Club, and all the players, volunteers and fans who've made this great tournament possible. I hope you have a great time. Thanks for watching.
Plenty of youngsters in the gallery here this week. We're celebrating USGA LPGA Girls Golf, and I think a lot of the participants have come out to watch. Getting a front row seat, Minjee Lee, with a delicate one here, Jerry.
A little delicate, yeah, somewhat downhill, turning a little right, and she could probably hit this time with any club in the bag, really. But she's chosen the one that she thinks gives her the best chance to make it. I think putter would give you the best chance to ensure par, but she's really, really good at these shots around the greens and rarely putts them.
Is the debris going to play any part in this? That tree is kind of shedding onto the...
That tree is shedding a lot. They had the blowers out as the players were approaching the green, but they just couldn't do that much. They've cleaned out their lines to the hole as good as they could. The players have such good technique.
Oh, is it going to go? Great touch. What are those things called? Does anybody know?
Twigs from the trees?
They're not twigs. They're not twigs. What are they called?
I'm not sure.
Send us a message on social media and tell us. That's what it's there for.
And up at the 18th, this is a par attempt for Anna Davis, the amateur. And you'll be seeing a lot of that over the years from this young woman. Most likely more often for birdie.
Yeah, and she's going to have a very busy summer with her win at the Anwa. Gets her in most of the majors this year. I think all of them.
She looks ready to go. Angel Yin sizing up this lengthy putt for birdie and a share of the lead at 10.
She was a victim of getting too much spin on her second shot.
Back to 9.
Yeah, Anna Davis, in all the majors that she can play, she's in. She can't play the KPMG Women's PGA because it's pros only, but she's been so impressive after kind of coming out of nowhere to win that Augusta National Women's Amateur. Now Lexi for the birdie.
Downhiller slightly, turning left the whole way gently. And Tom, I did a little quick impromptu survey of half the people in the skybox next to me. Nobody knows what these little debris pieces are called.
You know, nobody seems to know. Somebody on social media will know.
That's got a good line if she hit it.
Well, she left a few short yesterday.
Story of the weekend thus far. We can't even count how many probably would have dropped with another foot of speed.
She's right there, though. And what a back nine we've got in store.
Over the 14th, second of 2 par 5s in a 3-hole stretch. This is Saganda's second.
Yeah, she hasn't played all of that well this year. Just hasn't been able to put it all together. But she's really, this is putting on quite the show so far here this week.
The aforementioned par 5 12th, and Haejin Choi with a chance for eagle coming off of 3 straight birdies.
A little slow putt here up the hill.
'22 Tour rookie, looking for her 7th top 25 in her last 8 starts. And this is Sagström with a birdie look.
And much needed. She's been cruising along so well, ball striking and putting wise all week, and then derailed by that triple to third earlier in this round.
Can't get it to drop.
I mean, she's only 3 back. It's not that she's by any means out of it with a lot of golf left to play, but she's got to start to see something positive happen.
Yeah, Minjee has kind of opened the door for a lot of players with the fact that she's won over through 8 holes and should be won over through 9. I don't know if she's tapped in yet or not. This for par. I don't think she has as a marker. Okay. And it's been an eventful front 9 for Madeline. She may feel like the golfing gods have not blessed her on that front 9 with a plug lie in the bunker. She had a tough lie on the 6th hole on the edge of the bunker, and then a poor lie off the tee at the 7th. Now this for par. There's all to play for on the back 9 here. Minjee with a slim lead. Angel Yin going along well. Lexi Thompson is lurking here at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Look at the 11th hole with Angel Yin.
Angel could be a little bit erratic off the tee. Obviously quite long, but doesn't always keep it in play. This is a tricky one. You've got trees down the left, trouble in bunkers and penalty area down the right.
She looks really confident right now, swinging beautifully. Said it wasn't that long ago that she had a giant 2-way miss going.
At the 14th, a chance for Saganda to get to 15 under. Never a chance, actually. Not quite sure what happened there, Morgan.
I just didn't read it properly, and probably not committed if you're leaving it a little bit short like that as well.
We'll head over now to the 10th tee as this final group makes its way to the second 9 and the final 9 of this 72-hole event. Alexi Thompson, Jerry.
Going with a long iron here. Looks like the 4 iron. She carries a 2 iron. That's a 3 that's bent to a 2, and then a 4 iron, and the next iron's a 6. Plays around the 5 to carry those 5 wedges. 3 wood could clear the left bunker and cut the dog leg, but playing the percentages for Lexi here. Want to keep it right half of the fairway. That's drawn to the left side. It'll be fine.
Just fine. As Madeline Sagstrom gets set to play. We're going to check out this shot with our top tracer technology. We'll track the ball in flight to give you a great idea of the shot she has chosen to hit and where it's going.
Also a long iron. This will be the 4. Golf swing, Kelly Morgan is just, if you want to emulate a golf swing, you can't do much better than this.
It's one of my favorite golf swings on tour. It's actually, we've joked about it in the past. Her tendency, if anything, like she did on this one, is to swing too far left.
That was one of her worst swings ever with the 4 iron.
It came down right by the cart path.
Looked like it thought about getting lodged up there. Took a little longer than usual to drop as we go to the 11th.
And Jennifer Kupcho, winner of the first major of the year, the Chevron Championship back in early April. Let's get it to 7 under. Go back over to the 10th.
Jerry, your observations on what's been holding Minjee Lee back from scoring so much today?
Just the putter. She's striking it very nicely. Hasn't had real close opportunities. Missed about a 6-7 footer at number 3, and then less than a 2-footer at 4, both for birdies. But just hasn't seen him drop. If one does, maybe the floodgates will open. But the whole group is fighting that right now.
Well, that was darn near perfect. And we'll take this opportunity to remind you, on Monday, Mountain Ridge Country Club hosted the John Shippen event presented by Cognizant, an 18-hole stroke play competition for black golfers to earn a spot in the Cognizant Founders Cup. And this year's winner was girls golf alum Luckarabi Abe. This was Abe's first time teaming up in an LPGA event. Abe currently plays on the Epson Tour. Beautiful smile and a good time had by all.
I talked to her earlier this week. She was so excited to be in this field. The first opportunity to stand out at Alabama and getting our first taste of the LPGA Tour.
Entonces, como va a ser el que le vas a dar, a mí me gusta tirar como a las 2 personas que están sentadas a la derecha bandera. Carlota, relajado el hombro y ritmo. Tenemos que seguir haciendo el mismo swing.
How's your Spanish?
Average.
Could you understand that?
Some words.
Okay.
I can pull some of it.
What's the shot that he wants to see here?
A good one.
Something close to the flag time.
Yeah.
Something with rhythm.
She's moved up a little bit today, and got a lot to probably taking dead aim. She's not known for her quick pace of play on the LPGA, but she is known for her ball striking. And kind of a mystery why she hasn't won more.
Yeah, I think just really putting all the pieces together. She's such an incredible ball striker. Sometimes coming down the stretch, we've seen her miss a few short putts here or there that have cost her in big events, but I've played with her a bunch and just love watching her hit the ball and the sound that it makes coming off her club face.
Segunda from Pamplona, Spain. Just 31 years old. We're back at the 10th. Let's see what Madeline Sagstrom is facing. Sailing her shot well to the right.
Caught the tree, bounced right at that path as well, and now she's got a clean line, well, that's not a clean muffler, but a clean line, and a clean line to the hole, but it's a downhill lie. It's going to be a little hot coming out of there, so you've got to land this short to try and get it close, but you can't do that because of the water that cuts across the fairway. So Expect this to be near the back of the green, which would be the safe and smart shot if she doesn't choose to lay it up.
Morgan, you mentioned just a moment ago, she's only 3 back. She needs to keep the focus. But when you think about that number 3, that's what she gave up with that triple earlier in the round.
Absolutely. She got a little bit unlucky to end up plugged up under the bunker and compounded her mistakes. But she's still right there and has to just remind herself of that.
The 11th second shot for Angel Ian.
It's for 141 with a 9-iron. A little bit of breeze off the right. Angel looking for her first win on the LPGA. Does have an LET Tour win though.
Back over to 10.
And Sagstrom still trying to sort this out with her caddy.
Yeah, Shane Cobb, one of the best on the bag. Funny as can be as well.
We can get up and down.
Looks like there might be a little bit of mud on the ball there, Jerry, as well, which only adds to the situation.
But makes the decision easier. This is a layup.
She spent a lot of time working with her wedge game, on her wedge game with Annika this winter down at Lake Nona. I talked to Annika yesterday about it, and so she's going to try and put that to work here to save bogey, or save par, excuse me.
Pretty good coach, Annika Sorenstam, who's still competing on her own. And Lexi Thompson. What's ahead here, Jerry?
130 yards. Breeze that have been picking up is swirling. Feels like it's in here right now, straight into the players, and it shouldn't be. Unless it has indeed changed directions.
If anything,
Like 9. Like 9.
Love it.
She's talked about committing to the shot, and she's really proud of that, not really thinking about all the other things that you try and keep out of your mind. Stay in the moment, as the sports psychologists like to tell you, as elusive as that is to practice. This is a 9-iron. No longer committed.
She's feeling some of that swirling wind there, probably.
Yeah, it's a little bit off the left now. Should still be mainly straight into, okay?
She does spin the ball more than any other player on the LPGA. So if she spins one here and doesn't keep it low, that wind can eat it up. At 9-iron for Lexi, 130 yards. It'd have to be a really strong wind not to be able to get it to the green. Oh, that's flying nicely. Really nicely.
There's the spin. Beautifully executed. Doing a lot of things right, Lexi Thompson. Usually a big factor when the golf courses have reachable par 5s. Sometimes even with her nod, she can get there. As we look at her performance insights by KPMG, off the tee solid, putting solid, but around the green, you could argue, Morgan, that she's putting a little pressure on that putter with her scrambling.
Yeah, to be fair, she really doesn't chip all of that much. She leads the tour in greens and regulation, so she does hit a lot of greens, but maybe not as close as she would like.
Now Minjee Lee set to go.
8 yards closer than Lexi. This one less club, pitching wedge. And that started right. It's hanging out there, maybe a little draw.
25-year-old Lee, 6 career wins, including a major from Perth in Western Australia. She's got a birthday coming up at the end of the month. A little early birthday present perhaps in store for Minjee Lee. We'll see. Well, the late Shirley Spork has been a fixture at the Cognizant Founders Cup. In fact, handing the trophy to Jin Young Ko the last time it was held last season. Shirley Spork is dearly missed. She passed away in April at the age of 94, being honored at the first tee with a golf bag and there at the home hole with her bucket hat, her favorite color yellow. One of 13 founding members of the LPGA Tour. So much history, not nearly enough time to tell or thank them, but we do. Minjee Lee creeping one close, a solid effort. And just a little cleanup for her par. And we will head to 11.
Angel Yin's got a birdie putt here to take it to 16 under.
Got a bit of break to this one though, Tom. This is not an easy one to read.
She didn't quite give it enough pace. Still, Angel is lurking. This is a massive week. Morgan mentioned she was struggling with her game in the latter half of last year. She was thinking about maybe giving it up. It was such a struggle. She was missing it by like 200 yards off the tee. That's a big miss.
Back here at the 10th, this would be an adventurous par, Jerry.
Yeah, it would be. Played a nice little wedge shot from 64 yards, but it just spun left. It looked like it was going to be very close, but didn't leave too difficult of an uphill putt here, sliding just a little right. Great tempo on the stroke. Almost looks Morgan like she almost decells because she takes it back so far, but it actually maintains a very consistent pace through impact.
Oh, her stroke has been beautiful all week. Said it's probably the strongest part of her game. And that is just a grinder's par. Not mentally staying tough, staying in it, seeing that Minji's not getting too far away from her and knows that she has to just grind it out.
Carlota Saganda has a chance to tie the lead here at 15. And oh my word, that was close. So she'll stay one back.
You get so much momentum going early in the round. You start to get excited. You get a taste of it. And you hope that things don't slow down, Tom, but sometimes they do. Lexi Thompson with a birdie look at 10.
7, maybe 8 feet. Kind of a big test right here. This is a downhill slider. A very unfavorable putt for any golfer of any skill level that's right-handed. But if she can just convince herself what she has been doing so well, just hit a good putt. Don't worry about the result. Hit a good putt. I like her chances. Back 9 with a chance to win. That's when all of the weaknesses are typically exposed. She's been doing it well for the better part of a year now, making clutch putts routinely.
It's so important here, Jerry, like you said, to just start the ball on your line. Don't worry about the results.
Good tempo, held the finish.
That's the difference for the 27-year-old Thompson. Good way to start this back 9. As we head over to the 12th and catch up with Angel Yin.
Angel can get some serious speed with this club. She creates a lot of lag in the downswing and can really whip through the ball. This being a par 5, I think she has a great chance of potentially picking up 2 if this one stays in the fairway, and this is absolutely pummeled right down the center.
It is amazing, as Tom mentioned, like having a 200-yard miss, but then she looks so confident right here, right now. She's talked about trying to get back to her old swing, but that's really not that easy to do. And she's managed to do it very well.
Birdie chance for Lydia Ko at the 18th hole to get it to 9 under for the week. Let her in. Beautiful putt with the former world #1 with eyes on getting back to that top spot. A winner this year in January at the Gainbridge LPGA. She also had a 3rd place finish at the Palos Verdes Championship just a couple of weeks ago. So there's Lydia Ko at number 3 in this week's Rolex World Rankings list. Jin Young Ko still at the top. Remarkable run she has been on the last couple of seasons. Nelly Korda still out, waiting for her return, battling health issues. There's Lexi Thompson, number 9 in the world.
That's a 3-wood. That's turning left. Not a ton, but
oh, it's the right side of the tree, the correct side of the tree, I should say. But she's hit a couple down the left here at 11 now.
Here at the 16th tee, a challenging tee shot for Saganda.
Yeah, this one sets up beautifully for her signature fade. Not a lot of players on tour fade the ball. She's not happy with that one, though. I understood that one, Tom. That's going to be a pitch out from over there.
Sackstrom now on the tee at the 11th.
going with driver, and who knows if that little par save back at the 10th, Morgan, just puts a little pep in her step, a little more confidence. That was launched high with very little spin, right center.
Now, sometimes just seeing something go in, even when it's for par, something of 6, 7, 8 feet, can invigorate you just enough, give you something positive to think about.
Now Minjee Lee on the tee.
Driver also, just love this golf swing. She gets it all the way to the back parallel, and it doesn't look like her body's moved, and then just squares it up so effortlessly. That's turning up the left side, but it's got some heat on it.
There's it into the tree, and it drops down. Leave her longer second shot, and maybe some tree trouble. Min Woo Lee is her brother. He played in the Masters this year. Plays on the DP World Tour in Europe. Very talented family.
Our coverage continues. The final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup. We'll look at some of the events that have been played at Upper Montclair Country Club over the years. It has the distinction of hosting the best players on the LPGA Tour, the PGA Tour, and the PGA Tour champions. Notables include Arnold Palmer as a winner here, Nancy Lopez, who was here this week supporting the tournament, saying hello to all the players. And of course, other winners include Pat Bradley, Lee Trevino, Raymond Floyd, Lorena Ochoa. The list runs deep, and Angela Yin would love to join it.
No question about it, and she set herself up absolutely perfectly here. Just barely missed that centre cut line of this fairway, but from 177 she's got a 6-iron out. It is on a bit of an upslope, so that will put a little bit of loft onto this, and what little wind there is slight into and off the right. This one's going left though. Way left.
You know, that'll be okay there, Karen. Not the end of the world. She's got some green to work with.
Minjee's second at 11.
Trying to gouge a 6-iron and run it up out of that lie.
She's done that. The hole is in a little bit of a bowl today, but it's not going to quite get into that area.
Still such a good shot from there.
And what does Lexi face?
169 and a tree that's between her and the flagstick that she is going to have to carry. It shouldn't be a problem. Bit of a jumper lie, maybe. Could go at this with a 9, probably an 8.
Yeah, I do.
You gotta kind of turn around.
Now she's going around it instead.
Should be a little off the right too, shouldn't it?
Yeah, we're off the right. We're only 2 off the right.
It's a wispy lie, Morgan, but getting that ball to turn at all is not going to be easy. This is 7-iron.
Yeah, it doesn't turn usually quite as well coming out of the rough. Not able to generate quite as much side spin, but this is her preferred shot shape of a draw.
It's turning a little bit. Actually, it's left of the hole.
Might feed down a little bit. Alexi looking for her first victory in almost 3 years. Did have about a 6-month break from tournament golf because of the COVID shutdown. And her last victory came in the Garden State. The ShopRite LPGA Classic down the road and down the shore in Galloway, New Jersey. Now, Madeline Sackstrom.
9-iron from Madeline. Big tee shot here. Green-white territory. Good golf swing. Just tugged it a hair. 10 feet or so.
Okay. Trying to get back some of those shots that were dropped at the third.
Yeah, this is a fantastic layout. All the players have thoroughly enjoyed it. The greens are in perfect condition. Par 72, just over 6,500 yards in length, an A.W. Tillinghast original, dating back to 1928, and a tip of the cap to all the people who helped make this possible, including Michael Holliday and Michael Brunell. Morgan, you've really had high praise for this golf course all week.
It's a beautiful golf course. As you said, Kelly, have hosted some of the best players in the world for many, many years. I had the opportunity to play here from 2007 to 2009, and I just think it's a great old school test of golf. I think it's playing a little bit easier than we all anticipated, but you go back to thinking about Nancy Lopez winning here in 1979 at the Pioneer Dinner on Thursday evening, as I had the opportunity to host. She talked about winning in a playoff against Mickey Wright right here on this golf course. And to think about the new history that we're generating here with the Founders Cup this week and into hopefully many years in the future, it's great to be back here at Upper Montclair.
She told me yesterday that story as well, and she also mentioned she felt a little bit guilty as we watched Jin Young Ko for birdie at 18 about nearly, about taking down Mickey Wright in that tournament. She said that guilt only lasted for about a minute. Love Nancy. Jin Young Ko, who is the defending champion, two-time defending champion. Not the week she had hoped for as we get back to Angel Yin at 12, Karen.
Found a really nice lie above the green surface, just on the back of this green here. It is downhill all the way to the hole. But we've seen her play some really fabulous little chip shots.
And there's another one right there, Karen.
It's just her hands work so well through the ball.
She uses a lot of wrist, a lot more wrist on those types of shots than some other players do, but her tempo is superb.
Just a moment ago for Hae-Jin Choi, this was her effort at 14. Look at that. So a chance to get to 13 under, and a good chance at that. Back to Lee.
Yeah, this for birdie at the 11th.
Lengthy one up and over, a little shoulder coming off that greenside bunker, so it's going to be just uphill early, then downhill, turning left. Once it gets down to the valley tongue, it should quit breaking. Speed looks great. Lines, oh, so good, so close.
Very good try, but still looking for her first birdie of the day. 17 under coming into the final round. Morgan mentioned those 3 LPGA events that were played here, 07, 08, 09. One of them was only 54 holes because of weather. As she watches this one, just missing. But the other 2 that were over 72 holes, the winning score 18 under par in 07, 14 under in 09. And we thought that barrier would easily be broken today with the scoring we saw over the first 3 days. But Sundays can be a little bit different. Lexi's got a chance here to take the lead on her own.
She does, a little bit downhill. Her read is just outside the left. I saw a little more than that. Time will tell.
Just a little tentative, Jerry.
Yeah, a little bit. Easy to be downhill.
Shouldn't be a problem. Lexi's been waiting a while to get that next win. Let's go to 16.
And a lengthy par putt for Carlota Saganda. Not enough to get it there. With a 2-time LPGA Tour winner, winning in South Korea and Mexico, both coming in the year 2016. Back to 11.
And Sagstrom for the birdie.
Strange little ridge that feeds down to this bowl that she is on, so it's not going to break to the right like you would think on this entire green.
These greens are presented in such tremendous condition, and this is early in the golf season in the Northeast. I was talking to one of the grounds crew here earlier in the week. He said, you know, they had to set up their maintenance schedule in such a way that they could present the golf course in this sort of condition, and they absolutely nailed it. So full credit to all the hard-working folks here. Now pop up for Lexi.
The superintendent has a tough job. When you open in this kind of condition, Tom, it better stay that way all season.
Yeah.
That was pretty quick, but it's only a foot and a half.
Okay. Lexi's going to take a couple of weeks off after this, and then it is the US Women's Open, where she came so close to winning last year. And a 5-shot lead with 8 holes to play, but it didn't go her way.
12th, Karen Angel Yin taking a good look at this opportunity to pick up another stroke.
She does. I would say that if there was an area that I've watched today, it's the putting, where she seems to be very careful. She's very meticulous with her approach to the putt. She brings her caddy in to read them and to make sure that she's on the right path. But he does a lot of the reading for her. She's been playing very nicely today, taking advantage of the par 5s. This one is a good length to make. It's not a give me by any stretch of the imagination. She missed one. It was a little bit shorter than this back on the 5th hole.
for a share of the lead. Angel Yen to 16 under. And we have 3 tied at the top.
It's a bit more crowded, Kelly, than I kind of anticipated that it would be coming into the day. But
Absolutely.
Minjee just has not taken control of this tournament.
Back on the tee, Lexi Thompson going full bore.
Yeah, good drive here, and this is a cupcake birdie for all 3 of these long players. That looks good, right center of the fairway. Had a little fade on it, too, Lexi.
Not her traditional flight pattern, nonetheless very effective with the 16th. Saganda, this for a bogey.
The 16th is playing as the 3rd hardest hole today. One of the hardest holes in the golf course, but poor drive really set that up there for Carlotta.
All that momentum, too. Sagstrom off the tee.
It's a flatter ball than Lexi spin-wise, so into this little breeze from the right. Most times this weekend, she's hit it past her. That's going to end up maybe on the left edge of the fairway.
All right, we'll keep it right here for Minjee Lee. Really surprising that she hasn't had 1 birdie today, considering the way she started this golf tournament.
I agree, Morgan.
Yeah, for sure. I would have said when the day started that Minjee would not get to the 12th hole without making a birdie.
No, statistically the shortest of the 3, but she still ranks 11th in driving distance. It's pretty impressive. This one is a little wiggly right, very right edge of the fairway.
Keeping pace with Thompson.
That'll be fine. All 3 players will be able to get to that green in 2 with no problem.
Our coverage continues. Clifton, New Jersey, please. It's at the 13th tee.
And Angel Yin, one of the biggest hitters out here with the driver.
It is slightly wider fairway, this one. It seems to be a little bit more room of this tee. Another good one.
She's 23 years of age, but she turned pro 6 years ago. She was too young to play on the LPGA Tour. She had to go play in Europe.
Back at the 12th and the 2nd for Minjee Lee.
Has to fade this one a little or hit it quite high to get it over the tree, the edge of the tree halfway there. It's probably 30 to 40 feet in the air over those branches. Tiny uphill lie, 201 to the hole, but the important numbers, 179 front edge.
Love this golf swing, Morgan.
Yeah, and that is her typical shot shape, a fade. Jerry, she hits this very, very comfortably.
She's played this hole nicely through 3 rounds. That is high, that's a little fade, that is right at it.
Well, winning that major last year in Evian gave her a lot more confidence in her game, she said. A little bit more belief in who she is, and that's kind of scary when you consider how many wins she already has.
Yeah, and you wonder if that putt right there for the 3rd eagle on the 12th hole in a row this week could be just what she needs to jumpstart her day.
All right, Lexi and her caddy doing the math, Jerry.
Yeah. I do. All right.
Very similar position yesterday. Matter of fact, could be close to her divot. She had 188 hole. She's got 198 today. It pins back a little bit more than it was yesterday. Same club. This a 4-iron. Oh, that was smoked. It's turning to the right, maybe right 1/3 of the green.
Easily.
Enough to draw a smile. Wiping a little sweat off the brow, too. So stay here for Madeline.
170 yards to the front. 192 hole, 5-iron. Sounded just a groove low, but it is flying nicely, turning just a fraction left of the hole.
Excellent shots.
Yeah, spectacular right there. All three players.
Well, this hole brings back some very recent and fond memories for Minjee Lee. She made a birdie on it in round 1, and this was for eagle on Friday in the second round. Just dropping in the front door. And then yesterday, Morgan, another eagle chance.
We've watched her make a lot of putts from this distance all week up until today. Here's another beauty right here. Really taking advantage of this Aon risk-reward hole.
5 under on it in 3 rounds. Those are numbers that really only Karen Stupples can relate to when she won her major, going albatross eagle to start her final round. That's superhuman stuff. We'll see how she does on 12 this time around as we catch up with Saganda.
Yeah, this at the 17th. So I think she needs to be aggressive here, Morgan.
That's hard to do on this hole. It's been the hardest hole so far today. Really tough hole location.
Oh, needed a bit more. That rise in the green we've talked about in the middle of the green, just being rejected. She's 2 back, 2 holes to play, but of course those she's behind, like Angel Yin, have a lot more holes to go.
Yeah, and then you can be aggressive with it. And if we're below the hole, that's the easiest putt. Like 9 behind it. So 140 back edge. I like 50. Maybe got a little adrenaline. A little bit of wind help. It's going to fly 25. We're looking for like a 125 shot. I mean, I agree. We're fine if you could take 10 off that. Okay. I like that. Just a tiny bit right there.
A little bit down wind here. Had Kelly talking about that. This is a pitching wedge. There's a little sort of tear, a little upslope at the front of this green that stops about, the top of it is 5 yards short of this flag, so I think she can really be aggressive with this. A little bit right of the flag, that's where she was aiming.
Yeah.
Beautifully committed swing, considering she was definitely in between clubs there.
Amy Yin is hoping to join this lengthy list of Rolex first-time winners in 2022. Leona McGuire kicking off the campaign at the LPGA Drive-On Championship, capped off most recently by the Chevron Championship winner in the form of a major, Jennifer Kupcho, who, if you remember, won the Augusta National Women's Amateur in its inaugural edition. Anna Davis, the recent champion, most current champion of that newly christened tournament. A wonderful event is also in this field as we get back to Lexi Thompson, sizing up an eagle opportunity at 12.
An uphill eagle putt at that. This green has a bunch of, it's very busy with small little ridges and slopes, so reading them is not that easy. But had a little authority to that stroke.
Pretty good looking putt. You don't want to think too hard on the next one.
Yeah, beautiful pace, making it easy for herself here. Tap in birdie.
Looking good to get to 17 under in the solo lead, perhaps for the moment.
So 15th, Hye-Jin Choi to get it to 14 under par. Just went the wrong way on her. She's a very talented young player, rookie this year, a winner 11 times on the Korean LPGA Tour, which has been a great breeding ground for players to come over to the LPGA. Let's go back over to 12.
And Minjee Lee, who comes from a strong golfing family. Her brother Minwoo Lee won the Scottish Open last year and tied for 14th in his Masters debut this season. She actually caddied for him in the par 3 contest.
I'm not sure Minwoo's ever made 3 eagles on the same hole in a tournament. Ah, great effort.
Well, that would be a nice little run of birdie, eagle, eagle, birdie, though, which is still not too shabby. And the seal has been broken. So her first birdie of the day, and she waited until her lucky 12th hole to do it. In case you're just joining us, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast that there was a 1-hour fog delay this morning, which caused the delay in tee times up to an hour. So due to that extensive weather delay, we're going to finish well beyond our scheduled time. The final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup will conclude on CNBC with continued streaming on CBSSports.com. Our slated window today from 1 to 3 Eastern. And coverage will continue on CNBC once again. Now, Sagstrom.
A little bit downhill and just a tiny amount of break left late.
A surprising result for a young woman who says that 6-footers feel like tap-ins to her. And those are her words.
It's nice to have that kind of confidence, isn't it, Kelly?
I mean, have you ever felt that in your life?
At
a point,
did
maybe?
some good. I did some good work in my career with the flat stick. I will say that.
All right, now Lexi Thompson to join Lee with a share of the lead at 17 under. Well, beautifully done on a place where she traditionally likes to make hay, as they say, a par 5. She can eat them alive.
Carlota Saganda at the 17th really needs this to go in, but it's not easy. Move back downhill towards the hole and right in the middle. Carlota Saganda gets it to 15 under par.
What a putt, Tom, at a crucial moment.
But if she can birdie the last and set 16 under as the target, then that might give a few people something to think about. What an exciting final day we are having here in New Jersey. Megan Kang across the green at 13.
This one's just a bit uphill, Tom. Been pretty quiet for Megan out here today.
Yeah, she loves playing up in the northeast from the Boston area. Remember at the Boston Golf Clubs, it kind of reminds her of home. This is the time of year when it's good to be up here. Great for golf. So many good courses in this area.
So I like just finishing the left side of our scoreboard. This is the left side of our scoreboard, okay?
Lexi Thompson on the tee at the 13th, and there's a few of those pieces of debris there on the tee, and we've had lots of social media messages. Catkins, that's what they're called.
Catkins.
Yeah.
Not pollen cones.
Not pollen cones. Oak catkins. So thank you for informing us.
Gentle dog leg left. Par 4. Little breeze out of the left.
Oh dear, hates it.
Left!
There's water over there. Couple big trees.
Short of the water.
I think she's going to be just fine,
yeah,
Tom.
there's that one little tree there that she's knocked it past. So it's not the best angle to come in with the flag on the left, but could have been a lot worse. What happened here?
She just didn't look comfortable on it from the moment she put the peg in the ground and just started well left of the line that she was looking. Maybe a little bit of a double cross there.
Now up to the green where Angel Yin has a putt to get back into a tie for the lead.
This one, Tom, should move head left off the back of the green. Don't think it's particularly speedy from this part of the green to the hole. I mean, amazing journey, really. You think about Angel Yin, playing on the LPGA Tour, came out, as you were saying, so young. Had success early at 17 with a number of top 5 finishes. Got selected to play on the Solheim Cup team in 17 and 19. Was quite disappointed not to get selected last year. I think that kind of took a little hit to her mentally, I think, as she tried to fight her way back from that.
She make it?
Oh, but yeah, Karen, it's even though she probably knew that she didn't deserve the spot in the Solheim Cup, it's almost a reminder of how that you have not played as well as you would have liked. So it's hurtful. It's hard to sit at home and watch it when you know that you've been there a couple times and you've won. I've been there. I've missed the Solheim Cup in 17, and it's hard mentally to kind of realize that your game has fallen down from where you'd really like it to be.
If you're new to watching the LPGA, the Solheim Cup is Europe versus the USA, and it is a very meaningful tournament for players to qualify for. Minjee off the tee. That's just fine.
Just a moment ago at the 14th, this was the second for the most recent major champion, Jennifer Kupcho.
Jennifer is sneaky long, plenty of length to get to this green in 2. That's a fantastic kick off the downslope of the bunker. Wow.
So that left for an eagle. Life is good for Kupcho. Major champ. Chance for eagle. Much more ahead. The 13th.
Minjee Lee.
32 to the top. Puts up 34. That was so nice. Definitely feels some help in it now. Yeah. Yeah. You can do a bit far enough? Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Good.
Looks like all decisions have been made. 8-iron, 156. Breeze from the left, very flat lie. Caught that a little steeply.
It's going to come back a little bit. Not quite on point with her iron play like we've seen all season.
Here's Angel Yin at the 14th tee. Going to take advantage of this par 5 like so many people have.
No question about it, Kelly. This one is pummeled again down the right side.
Beautiful.
She has more than enough length to get there in 2 as well.
Up to the 18th. A tricky spot here for Carlota Saganda, her second.
Aggressive play off the tee to end up through the fairway there.
What a nice run for this 31-year-old who has missed the cut in 3 of her last 4 starts heading into this week, Morgan.
Alexi hated her tee shot, but it doesn't look too bad right now.
Manageable lie. Indeed, 130 yards could come out just a little hot. Gap wedge is the club of choice, just a bad angle. Not going to be able to get it close. Most likely.
And this is something that she's worked a lot with Martin Hall. When I've talked to him, he said, related to hitting poor shots, be your own best friend. Don't beat yourself up. It's not like you have to be overly positive, but have a constructive response to poor shots. So good to see Lexi bounce back from that tee ball. Got away with it, but see how she can really be her own best friend and not beat herself up, which she has had a tendency to do in the past.
And a reminder, we want to give you a good heads up here if you're vested in the outcome of this championship. Due to an extensive weather delay this morning, causing play to finish well beyond its scheduled time, it was fog-related. The final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup will conclude on CNBC with continued streaming on CBSSports.com. So this one is close. It's going to be an excellent finish as we get out to the 16th. And an outside shot here for birdie for Haejin Choi. Just to get to 14 under.
Yeah, as Tom mentioned, just an incredibly talented young player. We're going to see a lot of Haejin in the future. She's got so much experience, having won 11 times on the Korean LPGA. And you don't often see that in a rookie. I think it's one of the most experienced rookie classes that we've had in a really long time, Kelly.
She was 3rd in Hawaii this year, 6th in LA, 8th in your hometown of Boca Raton, Morgan. So here's Kupcho for that eagle at 14. Can she do it? Spot on. Just a marvelous back 9 for Kupcho. And she's in double digits. Let's get back to Minjee, who's really struggling to put this final round together. But that was not the case when she broke through for her first major last year at Evian-les-Bains in France, the Amundi Evian Championship. She began the final round 7 shots back of Jeong-Joon Lee 6. That was a birdie at 18 for a bogey-free 64. It was a playoff between the two, and Minjee Lee went with 6-iron on the 18th.
She was first to play here against Lee 6 and put the pressure on.
Lee 6 would hit her second in the water, so the door was open for Minjee Lee. She got the birdie for the win after missing her eagle attempt, and that was her 6th career tour victory. And as Tom pointed out just a moment ago, it's not the putter that's been failing her today, it's just not getting it close enough to the hole. That was for birdie and the lead there.
Yeah, it just puts a lot of pressure on the putter when you're putting from that kind of range. Let's go to 14.
Second for Yin.
Has 234 to the hole, 221 to the front. She's on quite a big upslope here. Hole is located in a really skinny front portion of this green. This really hard, really quality looking golf shot.
Wow, carried it all the way to the hole. That's a big hybrid. Angel has so much power.
There's another player with a lot of power. Lexi Thompson has a chance to edge ahead by 1 here. The birdie putt at the 13th.
A little bit of a mini double breaker here, Tom. It's going to just edge a little right early, but the speed should take care of most of that. And then at the very end, when it's dying, which it typically is with Lexi, it should fall a hair left.
Dribble it down there, just needs to go a bit more. There's a couple of putts that have come up short for Lexi. The greens are so quick, you can't get too aggressive, but you need to make them if you're going to win. Let's go to 18.
And an opportunity for her 10th birdie of the day, Morgan. Saganda.
I think this one has to go in, though, Kelly, if she wants to win.
Wow, what a final round. One of many low rounds we've seen this week. 363s, a couple of 64s. And Saganda putting together a piece of art here today.
And by far her best finish of the season. She's just struggled to put it all together, but managed to do that very well this week and can take a lot of positives heading into a really busy stretch of LPGA tournaments this summer.
No doubt. Over to 13.
Saxon made the birdie at 12. Can she make another one here at 13?
Yeah, anything she makes right now is going to be big at this point. Turning left. Uphill early. That's going to miss left.
Yeah,
Good putt.
There's still time, Jerry, but the time is beginning to kind of wind down here. She's 3 back, going up against 2 players in the group who are great players on the LPGA Major Champions. You don't feel like they're going to give too much away. You've got Angel Yin in the mix. So Madeline's going to have to make some birdies coming in, you would think. Let's go to the 15th, and Nasa Hataoka, the winner in Los Angeles a few weeks ago. The LPGA was at Wilshire Country Club. And a commanding performance from the Japanese star, who's 6th in the world. Went back to Japan for a couple of weeks, and now here in the US. And look at that card on the back 9.
It's a very busy scorecard she's had today.
Not many pars. Back over to Minjee. Little work to do here, Jerry.
Yeah, more than I can remember today for par, actually. Bit of a tester, plus it slides slightly right.
No problem at all for Minjee Lee. Lexi's got a little work to do. Just level for the day. That's one of the reasons that this is so close.
That birdie putt from Lexi was the first one, Morgan, that looked a little bit like the tempo got quick.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch her leave so many short, but I mean, like you said, you just can't really be above the hole on these greens. You got to put yourself in the right position to be aggressive. That stroke looked good there, Jerry.
Yep, it did.
Well, we've got a golf tournament here. Lexi Thompson, Minjee Lee tied for the lead on Sunday in New Jersey.
Traditionally a green light situation for Lexi Thompson on a par 5, the last one on this back 9 today.
She went forward in 2 yesterday. Not many players have been able to do that.
Love the way this hole is set up today too, Jerry, with the hole location on the front.
That big lean makes you think she hit it miles right. It's not miles right, but it's right.
It's in the bunker.
Yeah.
Forced layup from there.
Pretty good splash in that bunker as well. As we head up to Angel Yin and her eagle opportunity, I want to remind you, due to an extensive weather delay this morning, we had a 1-hour fog delay. Our coverage is going to go past our window. We will continue on CNBC, and also we will stream on CBSSports.com once we go past the 3 o'clock hour. So keep it with us as we are in store for a riveting finish at Upper Montclair Country Club. This is a very outside shot at an eagle, but a good chance to 2-putt and get to 17 under as well.
I actually think she'd be quite happy with the 2-putt from here. It's uphill at first, then backhill down towards the hole, and then it's going to swing left. There's a lot going on. Judging the speed is crucial, and that's a pretty good effort. Still going to be a little tester coming back.
Back on the tee, Minjee Lee.
Maybe with the little breeze helping here, Minjee was a big one. Would have an outside chance. Unlikely. Yep, she likes that, and she should. Not much roll on it, though.
The highest ranked player in the Rolex World Rankings in the hunt this week. 5th in those rankings. And Angel Yin, Karen, still away here for birdie?
She is, and just to give an example, just how tough that shot was, both the Paula Rito and Megan Kang, the players that she's playing with, they had to lay up short of the cross bunker, were able to wedge it in closer. Just this green, the greens are just so undulated. I mean, Angel hit 2 tremendous shots, and then she's just challenged with this club, which is why when you look at the scores, how low they have been, it's just amazing really when you think about everything that this golf course throws at these players, that they are just really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, you talked about her struggles a few moments ago with Morgan. She had been struggling with nerve pain in her left shoulder, and it really cost her a lot of opportunities last year to contend, and yesterday she admitted she wanted to quit. She was ready to put the clubs away.
Kelly, you could see that in her play, and you could see it in her when you saw her at the airports and when she was traveling around. I mean, golf was hurting her in more ways than the score on the scorecard.
And Karen, too, sometimes it's not that easy to play through an injury. You end up developing other poor habits and poor form. And I tried to play through an injury. It was probably one of the worst mistakes in my career. And I'm not the only one, and certainly, Angel as well. We've just kind of got to fight through it and try and get back to where you were.
Yin tied at 17 under for the lead, and we go to 17.
Yeah, we look at our voice caddy numbers here. It's 168 yards to the hole, 142 yards to the front, 177 yards to the back for Hye-Jin Choi. And that was taking dead aim. That's a good shot. Hye-Jin Choi with a chance to get to 14 under par. That would get her into a tie for 5th right now. And we'll go back over to 14.
And a birdie attempt for 24-year-old Megan Kang. And Kang is 41st in those Rolex World Golf rankings. So a solid player.
And she's really been playing well as of late. Played well at Palos Verdes, had a chance until the very end coming down the stretch. And when I've talked to her and her caddy, it's really been about this club, that they feel like she's been playing well, striking the ball well, but just hasn't got enough putts to fall. And certainly riding off of a lot of confidence, making a ton of putts at Palos Verdes and again here this week. He's a feisty player, grinder.
Brockton, Massachusetts, so no stranger to golf in the Northeast.
And still lives there,
Yeah.
which is unusual for a lot of players who grow up in the North.
Agreed. Maybe she should look for some property in Boca. I hear there's some nice territory down there.
I mean, she came down to Boca as her first event this year and hadn't hit a shot off grass until about a week before the event. She'd been practicing indoors all winter. Give her a lot of credit for that. That is not for this Floridian.
Really clean card, a lot of birdies.
You enjoy every birdie at 17. It's a flatter part of the green, sometimes more difficult to read. And it just had that little bit of movement. So a par will keep her 4 behind.
Sagstrom sizing up her second shot, Jerry, 14.
She's not the luckiest when hitting it in the rough. But still should be able to gouge this one up the fairway and leave the wedge in. The fairway she has missed. She's gotten some pretty thick lies. This no more than 8 iron on her layup. But it's a jumper. It's going to be good. Right center of the fairway.
Aggressive swing, well executed. And a decent angle to the hole. Keep it here for Minjee Lee's second.
Giving it a whirl. 238 yards to the front edge. 251 to the hole. Little breeze helping.
It's got to be a tough spot, Morgan, because she hasn't been able to make anything magical happen, but she knows she needs to make something magical happen here pretty soon.
Yeah, she just needs to get something going. I think she needs to see a putt go in.
Players can't see any of the putting green from back here. That's left of where she wanted, it appears.
It'll be just fine, Jerry. Right on the front edge. Like you said, she's not going to be able to see where that ended up, but just on the fringe, about a yard short of the green.
Decent lie, Jerry, for Lexi in the bunker.
Yeah, very good lie. Not much of an issue, just a layup. It's made better, this lie is, by the little line from the ball. Pilots would call it a contrail behind the ball. That makes clean contact a lot easier. Ooh, that turn left, though. That's going to miss fairway.
Big mistake there with the layup. I don't think she'll have tree trouble, but won't be able to get much spin on that wedge.
The ultimate pro, unable to take advantage of the contrail.
Back at 15th with Megan Kang. You can see her there, tied for 5th.
Just 142, the tee having been moved forward again today. Whole location really in the centre of the green, very accessible.
Oh, very accessible. Wow, that was close.
Well, back at the 14th with this final grouping, and just a reminder, we did have a lengthy fog delay this morning, pushing tee times back an hour. Final group getting out at 10:45 Eastern Time at Upper Montclair Country Club. We're going to stay with you beyond our allotted time on CBS. Head over to CNBC for the finish of this round, and we'll continue streaming on CBSSports.com. Lexi up and away.
This needs to go from 104. That was some pretty thick hay. Well, she'll get a read.
Over to 15.
Now Angel Yin on the tee.
Well, she has the right kind of blueprint. Creates a lot more spin than Megan does, so has to land this maybe a little deeper in the green to get it as close.
Looks like a good line.
It is good.
Oh, it just stopped quickly. Get a 14.
Third for Sagstrom.
Good chance here to get one close. Lob wedge, 74 yards, brings it in low, one skip and stop. Oh, too big a skip.
Yeah, I just carried that nearly to the flag for that one big bounce.
Minjee Lee calmly sizing up what's ahead for her. Let's take you back on this final round journey she has been on so far. Some interesting moments, and you can only wonder if the tournament comes down to a stroke for her. If this is the shot that she will remember, that was at 4. And an uncharacteristic miss from very short range. And then Morgan moving ahead to the 8th. This was her second.
Yeah, got a really bad spot here. A bit unlucky that it didn't bounce back down into the bunker and didn't have much to work with there at all. Managed to get up and down from that spot in the bunker to save bogey.
You don't want to swing too hard at those. You could break your wrist. It's just a tricky spot. And now Lee, who's looking for just her second birdie of the day on the last par 5 of the day.
And she's played so well this season. It's just unbelievable to think that she hasn't won yet. And some of it has been because of her performance on Saturdays and Sundays, getting off to hot starts and not quite able to get the job done. It's got to weigh on her a little bit as well, mentally.
Angel Yin, 6 under par for the day, as this to take the lead on her own.
This is a bit of an awkward putt, Tom. You've got to believe it's going to move a bit to the right, but the overall slope of this green is to the left. So you have those two conflicting thoughts when you're standing over it.
Look at the tempo of those practice strokes right there. The tempo of Angel's stroke has always been beautiful. It's kind of a very natural, athletic move.
And standing where she stands, she's able to look down the line of this putt, visualizing that as she makes those practice strokes.
Just moved. Talked about that nerve pain that she suffered in her shoulder. When it was at its worst, she couldn't open a bottle of water. I mean, she was really struggling. So it's great to see Angel in this position and a chance to win for the first time. It's huge.
Look at that scorecard. You know, lots of circles on it. Same for Saganda. That even adds to the juxtaposition of Minjee Lee's card here for Eagle, though. See if she can get this close or perhaps even in. Very nice.
And very well judged with the pace. We've seen her putt very well from distance all week. And that'll leave an easy birdie.
And here it is, birdie number 2, of course, coming on the 2 par 5s in that 3-hole stretch. So at least she did not let those opportunities go by. She is at 18 under. That is the new mark as we get back to Lexi. Jerry right there.
Yeah, she knows exactly what it does, which isn't much, having been just about 3 or 4 inches closer on the same exact line as Minjee Lee had to mark it and move it to get out of her way. Making it would just be a bonus, even though you know exactly what it does, because it is lengthy. That hopped a lot right off the putter.
It took a ton of speed off of it as well.
It really did.
It just looked like she maybe put a little bit of too much of a cut. Look at how far left her putter goes there. A little bit of cut spin, making that ball hop a little bit more than she would have liked, rolling through that fringe.
Let's get up to 15.
This is Megan Kang.
Tom, she's been really sneaking up on the leaderboard here. This would be for her 6 under par for the day. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think she's going to have to birdie in from here. I mean, you can see she's made quite a few birdies on this back 9, but 3 back of the lead.
We talked about Minjee Lee's struggles on holes 4 and 8 earlier today. Let's not forget that Segstrom made a triple bogey early in the round and has just been trying to recover since.
And needs to make this. Miss it. You're 4 down with 4 to play. Still in search of that validation win, if you will. Win number 2 in her career. It seems like it's just a matter of time with her game, her length, her ability, especially on and around the greens. But It's never easy, Morgan, is it?
No, but she works a lot with her coach, Hans Larsen, who's out here with her this week. They have a very clear game plan, and they know what they need to do to continue to improve on a steady pace, which she has. I mean, she's played incredibly well, especially the last few weeks. 2 top 10s in a row coming into this week. That was just a misread there.
Yeah, she's done that a few times today. Surprising for someone who stood up to the podium yesterday and said she looks at six-footers like tap-ins. She said it with a smile, a little bit of a laugh, but she's a very confident woman with a putter in her hand. Lexi Thompson, and she's going to really be kicking herself if she walks away with bogey here. Still be frustrated with par as well.
Yeah, it'd be a huge miss at this stage, wouldn't it? Yeah. Probably 6 feet more.
I think for Lexi's just confidence going into these last few holes, this is the biggest putt of the day right here. Beautiful stroke. Very well done.
She made that one look like a tap in. Angel Yin, driver in hand.
And one of the toughest driving holes, trouble down the right, trouble down the left, but Angel can carry all of that trouble. And this one's a little bit down the right side, but should hang in there. Wow. Her driver has been simply stunning this side.
Angel Yin, just 1 drop shot on the card today. Looking to pick up another birdie and tie the lead with Minjee Lee at 18 under at the Cognizant Founders Cup.
Back on the 15th tee, the final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup here on the LPGA Tour. And Minjee Lee from Australia has a 1-shot lead. Ticking towards the top of the hour. We had an hour-long fog delay at the beginning of Sunday, so we're just kind of run out of time here. And so at 3 o'clock, we're going to move over to CNBC, and you will be able to continue watching it on CBSSports.com as well. So CNBC, no business, just golf at 3 o'clock Eastern Time.
Still some money talk, though.
A lot of money talk, a lot of money on the line here. $3 million purse, $450,000 to the winner.
And are you buying or selling Minjee Lee right now?
Keep them coming, Kelly.
It looks like a buy at this point, doesn't it? But there's a lot to be determined with a lot of talent right behind.
Had the 9, making the switch, I believe, to the 8. Didn't like how it felt. Karen called this a very accessible hole location. It is indeed quite generous. This is the 8-iron.
See how close you can get it. Megan Kang almost hold one. Previous group.
It's hanging right of the hole.
Got away with it. The 8th, she hit one right and found a terrible lie.
Slope made it a little better. Ground hook.
Take a look at this shot with our top tracer technology.
I don't think it's a good number here for Lexi, either between clubs, between the 8 and the 9. Going with 8. Taking it back from the tee box just a little bit. Slight breeze from the right with a little bit of hurt in it. It's just right of the hole. Plenty of club, it appears.
Yeah, that's fine. Lexi one back. Good to the 17th, and Nasa Hataoka for birdie. So we get her to 14 under par within 4 of the lead. It's going to be another good week for Nasa. She will have her sights set on a US Women's Open in a couple of weeks. She's getting close to winning last year. Let's go to the 16th.
Megan Kang, her second.
A little bit of an awkward shot here. Only just got out of that bunker. This is from 169. Ooh, and that's going to be even more awkward in the grass above that bunker.
There's Madeline Saxham on the tee at 15.
8-iron as well. Needs to get one close. This is a good line.
Just a beautiful ball swing right there. 2 feet of curve, only to be beat out by Lexi's 1 foot of curve.
Lexi Thompson is chasing, looking for that first victory in almost 3 years. One of the biggest stars in the game. Can she get it done here in New Jersey?
Back at Upper Montclair Country Club for this final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup, and this is Angel Yen at the 16th with 118 to the hole for her second.
Yeah, tee shot was about 300 yards. Absolutely pounded it. She needs a bit more distance on this one. Oh, watch the spin.
Oh no, there's a big false front there. Is it going to stay? Oh, barely. If not, it would have rolled down 30 yards short of the green.
So frustrating, Tom, not to be able to capitalize on that big drive.
Yeah, this is the 15th. Take a look at that leaderboard there on the right side. Now they come into a stretch of holes. They've played the 2 par 5s at 12 and 14 now. There are some tough holes coming in, so it certainly evens itself out on that leaderboard. Minjee for birdie.
Hasn't been able to get anything, to see anything drop pretty much all day. This one turning left consistently all the way to the hole.
Yeah, just not really matching the pace and the line as well as she has so far this week. I just wonder if just that little bit of pressure trying to get that first win of the year. I mean, even in her press conference or post-round interview yesterday, I believe she was asked how she felt to get her second win of the year, or if she were to get her second win of the year, and she said, actually, I haven't won yet this year. So she's played so well that everybody actually thinks that she has won, but she just has not been able to get it done. And if she's not able to get it done again here today, have to be beyond frustrating.
Just a reminder, we'll be heading over to CNBC at 3 Eastern. But the coverage will be streaming on cbssports.com. So continued streaming coverage, and our coverage also over on CNBC at 3 Eastern. So what's that? 12 minutes or so. Now Lexi to tie the lead.
Fixing a little imperfection in the green. There aren't many of these greens, even being Poa this part of the country, rolls so smooth. Incredible job they've done with them. This one outside the hole on the left, gently downhill, but not much.
Usually from this kind of length, Lexi has the confidence. Just not hit enough.
Yeah, a little tentative. You could see her hands go well to the left, closer towards her body through the stroke.
It's got to be on her mind, Morgan, the fact that she's not won for 3 years. It's just so hard to believe.
There's no question that it's on her mind, Tom. I would have to believe her #1 goal. I know she talks about trying to stay in the present, but she knows she's in contention to win for the first time in 3 years, for sure.
A lot of territory to cover here, Karen, for Yin as she sizes up this birdie putt.
There is a ton of it, and really quite the misjudgment with her approach from just that 118 yardage range. Megan Kang has already played a little pitch from an awkward line, the upslope of that bunker, and has just run through the back of the green. This one is uphill. It does have a little slope halfway to the hole that will slow it down just a bit.
She has a wonderful personality. very vibrant. She said she first picked up a golf club at age 6, discovered quickly she could hit the ball 150 yards. She told her mom, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and she said it was odd. I can't believe my mom listened to a 6-year-old, but she let me go.
Just carrying a bit of speed.
A little bit more left than you want for the par putt over to 15.
And Sagström for the birdie.
Probably doesn't look like a tap in today, turning a little right.
Okay. 30 at 15, 3 back, 3 to go. Just another quick reminder, 3 o'clock Eastern over on CNBC. Streaming will be on CBSSports.com. We had an hour delay earlier because of the fog. Got away with it during the week, but finally caught up with us on Sunday morning. The fog here in New Jersey. To the tee at 60.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just here. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Staying aggressive here. Driver from Madeline takes the right fairway bunker out of play. Ideally want this on the left side of the fairway, but she'll be able to get it far enough up there in any part of the fairway to get past the trees that could block her out on the right. The last few drives have been left. Swing with the driver, just a little off today.
It's been the worst club in her bag for the last couple of seasons, Jerry.
That one's pretty well pummeled right there. Remarkable that her last missed cut was a year ago next week.
And that just shows tremendous consistency. Maybe doesn't sound like a whole lot, but cut streaks are important. You just really been able to stay consistent and not really have any poor rounds.
If you peel back that layer, or that onion, a couple more layers, and she's been improving in cuts each and every season too, so it's been trending for a while as we watch Lee.
And that looks like a really good tee shot as well. Baby fade, her go-to shot. Ideal on this hole.
Minjee Lee is coming alive at just the right time. Up at the green, Megan Kang from just off of the green for a par putt.
And that's going to be a little disappointing for her. I mean, she did have a really tough lie, but brutal.
All right, Lexi Thompson going all out here.
The best club in her bag. Contrast that to Sagström year after year.
Yeah, Jerry, she talks about how confident she is with this club. That watch out when Lexi starts really pummeling the driver.
That's going to miss fairway left unless it gets a real lucky bounce.
Well, fortunately, it looked like it made soft contact with the spectator.
Looks like the lie is okay. It'll depend on whether she's has any tree trouble or not.
And up at the 16th green, much movement to this par putt, Karen, for Yin?
I don't think there's a great amount here. I think that the biggest thing with these greens is you just have to be so committed to them because they are so subtle in all manner of ways, and even the short putts can have a couple of different breaks to them. The difficulty here is that you get a real sense of the moment. She knows how close she is right now to the lead, and just got to be patient with it and put a good stroke. Oh.
Wow, that is costly, Karen.
Such bad timing.
It looked like a good stroke. Just, I don't know if she broke more than she thought.
I think we can put that down to the wedge, though. Just not getting it back to the hole.
Definitely after you hit the drive over 300 yards, as she did there on a tight 16th. Bogey leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Let's head over to the 18th and the second shot for Nasa Hataoka.
See if she can take advantage of this accessible hole location here. Such an all-around solid player.
Six-time winner, winning in LA earlier this season, and number 6 in the World rankings, well, we've seen a lot of birdies so far today. A lot of players furiously climbing up that leaderboard to try to contend for this title, Morgan. Still some golf left. Minjee Lee was quiet for the longest time, letting them all come to her, and now she's starting to wake up with this finishing stretch in store. Who do you think right now is looking most poised to finish the job?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot going on. I feel like we have Angel Yin looking for her first win, Lexi for her first win in 3 years, and Minjee looking for her first win of the season, considering how incredibly she's played. It's hard to believe she hasn't won yet this year. So for her, I think there's a lot of pressure on her to pull this one out. But like you said, she's made a couple birdies here on the back nine, and which I'm sure she's telling herself, finally, I've made a couple of birdies. And right now she is in the driver's seat. The 16th hole is one of the tougher holes. 17th playing as the hardest hole today. So there's still quite some golf left to be played, but I think Minjee at this moment is in the driver's seat.
There's been some loose shots from Lexi Thompson these last few holes down the stretch, but what a story it would be if she could collect herself and come home to get the trophy at the Founders Cup for her first win in nearly 3 years, her last coming in the Garden State in New Jersey and ahead of a U.S. Women's Open. That would be a popular victory.
Absolutely. It's been a long-awaited victory. We've all been waiting for Lexi Thompson to break through again, and at the Founders Cup. Talk about act like a founder. She really lives and breathes that phrase, and I think it would mean a lot to her as well to win the Cognizant Founders Cup here at Upper Montclair.
No doubt about it. One of the most likable players on the LPGA Tour, always taking time to sign autographs for children and take pictures with them. Such an inspiration. Our final leaderboard, this is what it looks like right now with a few holes remaining at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Minjee Lee with that narrow one-shot lead in search of her 7th LPGA Tour victory. A lot of heat in the rearview mirror on a warm day in the Garden State. So, our final round coverage now shifts over to CNBC. We're going to continue streaming as well on CBSSports.com. It's been a pleasure being with you today from Clifton, New Jersey. Allie Ewing preparing for a title defense at match play. Cooled off on the weekend, but another nice showing for her. Jennifer Song in that pack at 4 under with a round of 72 on Sunday. And there is Anna Davis, the reigning Augusta National Women's Amateur Champion. Another solid week for her, making her 2nd consecutive cut with these exemptions onto the LPGA Tour because of that win. It's the final round of the Cognizant Founders Cup, and Minjee Lee has a one-shot lead over Lexi Thompson. And Angel Yin is 2 back, putting together one of the lower rounds of the day. Carlotta Ciganda with a 64 in the big part of the story for most of the day. Kelly Tillman, Morgan Pressel, a major champion alongside in the booth. Tom Abbott as well as Karen Stupples, another major champion, and Jerry Foltz walking the fairways. A Minjee Lee on approach here at the 16th from 142, Jerry.
Yeah, just a pitching wedge. Going to be tough to get it all the way back there, a little right of the hole. Lexi got lucky in the rough, had a nice lie, and was able to hit a good shot to the back of the green.
Over to 17 and Tom Abbott.
Angel Yin 2 back. Let's see if she takes dead aim here, Karen.
Well, it's a tough hole location, tucked on that right side, playing 168 yards today. Not easy to get to. This one's got to hang on. It's down the right side.
Oh, it's just hung on, but I'm sure she'll be able to get putter on that. It's the hardest hole out there right now, the 17th.
Over the 18th, this is world number 6, Nasa Hataoka of Japan. This is a birdie chance to get to 14 under. Trying to lock up her top 10 this week. Well done. A winner already this year. You get the feeling a lot more is coming.
She played so well. Wilshire Country Club made over 400 feet of putts for the week.
It's a career for a lot of the amateur golfers out there. Minjee Lee at 18 under, trying to notch her 7th career LPGA Tour victory. Are you surprised she hasn't won again since winning the Evian last year? Or, you know, it's not that long ago, is it?
You wouldn't think that, but judging by the way she's played, Jerry, and her stats, it's shocking.
The ball striking has been just dreamlike. So it's, like I said earlier, it's just not easy. You're playing against some of the deepest competition in the history out here, and So many players are hungry to beat you.
And just in case you're looking for rugby right now, you can find it on the NBC Sports app or NBCSports.com. We're playing with a different ball here. Golf ball. And a chance for an elite title at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Well, it's not a full contact sport, but the way Lexi swings a golf club, it's aggressive. But it's all about this touch around the greens that's going to be the test right now.
Still unsure who's going to play. Minji's looking at Lexi for indication. Well, Lexi's going to go.
While they size that up, we'll head over to 17.
And Angel Yin, 2 backs. Fancies this one, Karen?
Well, it's sitting down a little bit, so having to chip this and not try the putt. But she's played some really great chips today.
That wasn't far away, Karen.
No, well, she had the flag out. I think she fancied it.
Yeah, may have had a little too much pace to drop, but she certainly gave it a go, which you'd love to see. Let's go to 16.
There's a lot to think about here.
Took her a while, Lexi, to decide on the club. There's just something about this lie sitting down a little bit in that frog here that she didn't like, didn't think she could catch it. Delicate little chip shot cleanly. So she is going to putt it, and that's risky as well because that is some hearty grass. It's going to bounce.
I've seen the likes of a DJ Singh on the PGA Tour going with a fairway metal just to kind of softly roll through the back of that grass and make putter-like contact. There are options out there.
It's not really something that you would go with unless it's practiced it a decent amount, but with as big of a putter head as Lexi uses here with this mallet, it can definitely get stuck in that.
You're right, it's like a fairway metal.
But it could also get stuck in that higher grass right behind the ball.
Yeah, and she's likely going to catch this a little thinly.
Seemed to roll pretty well.
Pretty well. Didn't seem to cost it that much speed.
All in all, good club decision. And you're probably thinking that you're going to make the least amount of an error with the putter. And you can see how nicely it did roll through that. Didn't bounce at all through the fringe, through the first cut, excuse me.
All in all, pretty good effort. So we keep it here. Minji Lee taking a good look. What's in store for her here?
A little bit of an uphiller, quite slow all things considered, even though these greens are rolling at 12 plus, which is a little faster than LPGA standard of around 11.5, but they just couldn't do much to get them to grow because it hasn't been warm up till this week. But they're fantastic as they are. Should turn a little left. Hasn't been able to see one disappear yet today. What a time this would be.
Former #1 amateur in the world at a very young age. Multiple Australian amateur championships on her resume. Now a major champion trying to win the Cognizant Founders Cup. Good line. Need a little bit more push. Over to 17.
And Megan Kang for the birdie.
Obviously haven't been many birdies on this hole today, so this would be a good one for her to make up for the last hole. Bounce back.
Only 6 birdies here today, Karen. Back over to 16.
And Madeline Segstrom has a look at birdie.
Ball striking today just hasn't been, or it had been, the previous 3 rounds, only making 2 bogeys through 54 holes on this difficult golf course. Today it's just been that slight bit off. This one turning a little left.
Yeah, just got behind the 8-ball, Jerry, with that triple. But that'll help. Never give up. There's no give up in Madeline, that's for sure. She's going to fight till the very, very end.
That was the first putt of any significant length to drop in this entire grouping in the final round.
And just beautiful putting stroke on full display right there. Finally getting something to go in. such a difficult hole, playing as the 3rd hardest hole today. Only the 6th birdie of the day on the 16th hole. Came at a really nice time, I have to say.
Really couldn't have timed it much better. The former first-team All-American at LSU, Sagstrom is. Now Lexi Thompson. Putter's looking really good from those short range looks that she's been getting. Pretty solid from 8 feet and in.
Angel Yin for a par here at 17.
This would be a good one for her to just calm herself down before making the final push on the 18th, and that was well done.
Yeah, needs a birdie at 18, Karen.
Yep.
She's got the length. Let's go back over to the 16th.
Par putt for Minjee Lee.
Not much to it at all.
Lexi making hers. It's added pressure to keep that one down, and she does to hold on to that 1-shot lead. Let's take a look at what's ahead here for this final grouping at the 17th.
It's a hole that's playing almost a 1/3 over its par. And the green is one of the most challenging greens on the course. There's that knob in the middle of the green. The flag today tucked back right. As you mentioned, only 6 birdies and a leaderboard where Minjee Lee has the 1-shot advantage. Lexi right there at 17 under. Madeline Sagstrom has come off back-to-back birdies, so she's going to have the honor here. And for Madeline, you kind of got to roll the dice. You got to try and make a couple of birdies coming in. This is kind of where it all began to unravel for Madeline Sagstrom on the 3rd hole. That was where her 2nd shot finished, just trying to dig it out.
I just got really unlucky to end up in that spot. The sand is very wet from the rain we had yesterday.
This was surprising.
I think it just sculled that right into the lip. That was a relatively simple bunker shot. And then as she manages it very well right there.
She would end up making a 7. And that dropped her back to 13 under. She's battled away out there and managed to get into a position where it could be win number 2 on the LPGA.
Yeah. Just let the wind take it.
Let the breeze take it first.
Yeah. Just a full one.
Yeah. One of them is perfect.
Well, she walked off the 14th green, most likely needing to run the tables. She's halfway there. 7-iron here, not an easy hole to get close to, but the breeze is in and from the left.
Trying to work it towards that hole.
This has potential.
Wow. Oh, just not enough. Is it going to come back? No, going to stay there. There's a bit of a false front on this green. Let's go up to the 18th.
Angel Yin on the tee.
Pretty tight tee shot in terms of right and left.
Asking for it to sit. What a poor club selection off the tee. Why you would even bring that bunker into play, I don't know, Karen.
No, there was absolutely no need for it. That's why it was tight for her.
Huge mistake, considering she needs a birdie. Minjee Lee, this is a big tee shot, Jerry, and if she makes a mistake here, it just opens the door.
And she has on the last 2 par 3s, hit both of them well right. One of them caught the green, one of them ended up dead. This is 6-iron. I think she's got to take that flag stick out of her mind's eye and just get this one more toward the center of the green. Maybe with her little stock fade, the wind will accentuate that fade.
It should fit her ball flight and her eye nicely. Take it off the camera tower there in the back of the green.
Exactly what she has done. This could end up pretty good.
Very good. Very good indeed. Is that the tee shot of a champion? We will find out, but it certainly goes a long way in Minjee Lee's efforts to become a winner of the Founders Cup. And you look at all the winners here of the Cognizant Founders Cup, they're all major champions. I don't know if it just something about the history of the LPGA and how meaningful this event has been in its relatively short history. Maybe that brings out the best in the best players. Now Lexi.
Shot that doesn't really fit her eye, Morgan. Going with 6-iron. It's going to be plenty of club, and her hand's kind of forced now by Minjee Lee hitting that beauty.
Yeah, she's going to have to adjust where she was maybe aiming. There is that slope a little bit left of the hole location that she can use to move the ball right.
Taking a couple little practice waggles with her left hand to sense the feeling of a little fade.
We're going to try and keep her hands and arms very quiet here through the hitting area, something she's been working a lot on, taking the curve out of her ball flight.
This is right of the flagstick, not a lot.
Aggressive line. That's going to go too far by. Minjee Lee in a good position here, trying to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Kari Webb, who won the first one in 2011. Yani Sen, Stacey Lewis, Imbi Park, Jin Young Ko, the greats.
Well, the LPGA USGA Girls Golf Alumni is in full force this week. A lot of kids out watching the tournament. Morgan, I know you have a great history with this grouping, and you know, it's nice to see the alumni in action here.
Yeah, there are 21 alums in the field this week, and I was part of the program in its infancy myself. What a wonderful organization. If you have a daughter out there, Kelly, I know we talked, we're trying to get your daughter involved in golf. Ryan, we got to get her out to LPGA USGA Girls Golf and teach her this incredible game.
Yeah, thanks for
game
giving her
life.
Thanks for giving her the love there. Is 9 years old too late?
I started when I was 8. I think it's never too late.
That's right. Never too late. All right, Karen. So Angel Yin, who stormed onto the scene like Morgan at a very young age, what is she facing here?
Brutally tough shot. I mean, the lie is awkward. Down the slope, ball above her feet, thick grass, and this isn't going to get there.
Oh, what a
well done.
Fantastic shot from that live. She made that look so much easier than it was to be able to get that much club on the ball. Really well done.
I know we're in New Jersey, but that was Hollywood-esque.
To go back to the never too late from the kids, the one thing I hear the most from people is that they wish they'd started earlier, at any age. So get your kid involved in the game, no matter when.
Keep it fun, too. Just keep it fun, right? The younger they are, the more fun they need to have. There they are, looking on, future players in the game. Absolutely adorable. They're so much better today than they were when I was a kid, and the good instruction out there, all the access to great video and great coaches. All right, Segstrom.
Can she do the improbable again? Not an easy putt, dying right. Uphill.
Needs it, Jerry.
Yes.
2 back. Minjee's got a great chance for birdie coming up. Is it going to move back towards the hole? Is it going to run out of pace? She had the line. And Madeline will remain at 16 under par. In a tie for third at the moment. 2 back. Could be 3 back here shortly. Shot 63 in the opening day to take the lead after round 1. Now Lexi.
Not a good break here because that fringe is definitely a factor. It is going to impede the backstroke, normal backstroke. So I don't know if she alters the stroke.
It's going to be going inside it.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I like starting outside of that.
How much do you think, Morgan, she feels like she's got to make this?
I'd say with Minjee in there tight, she does feel it. But one of the things that she's focusing on is only what she can control and not worrying about what she can't, which is what Minjee does. So the number one thing she has to do here is stroke it on her intended line.
It's pretty good right now. Wow, it was close. I mean, that looked really good.
That was a fantastic effort, especially from that little bit of an awkward lie. Just ran out of the slightest pace at the very end.
Take a look at the contact. We're worried about how it would. Yeah, it jumped slightly.
It's almost like she hit down on the ball just enough to pop the ball up. Maybe cost her those few extra revolutions.
Now, this could put the tournament just too far away from those other challenges. This for a birdie.
And then it would make the 18th hole play a lot less stressful. Turning right.
That really has just been the story of her day. I mean, she's obviously still on top, but just has not been able to get anything to fall, Jerry.
She has to feel that she made that putt in the line. She was exactly where she wanted to. It just didn't turn anything like Alexi's did from the opposite side of the hole.
Yeah, carried maybe a little bit too much pace to fall. A little bit of a power lip out.
Keeps the door open for Lexi, but she's got to make this. Okay. Stays one back, heading to that 72nd tee. We will go to the 72nd hole now.
Angel Yin with a chance to cap off this round with a birdie and get to 17 under.
Be fitting for her to have a good finale. She's played so well today.
I think Angel's going to take a lot of confidence from her performance this week. It's been fun to watch. LPGA Tour is a lot of fun when Angel's in contention.
It's a round of 5 under on a Sunday. Bettering her Saturday score by 1, 67, 68, 67 to round out her Cognizant Founders Cup campaign in 2022. Here's what's ahead on CBS this season. 4 total events for the LPGA Tour, seen on CBS. The next stop, also in New Jersey, a little further south of here in Galloway at the ShopRite LPGA Classic. The Dow Great Lakes is a Saturday finish. Note that, in Midland, Michigan, just about an hour outside of Grand Rapids. And the CP Women's Open in Ottawa, Canada. That will come your way later this summer on August 28th. Let's get back to this finish. It's going to be very exciting here. And Madeline Sagstrom at the 18th will be first to go.
Anything up the right?
Yeah.
Last words of advice from Shane Kai. You don't want to hit this more than about 230 yards because almost every player in the field is aiming for that left center of the fairway, short of the cross bunkers.
That's the bunker we just saw Angel nearly reach.
I heard you say that. It's quite surprising. Watching that closely. Looks right.
Yeah, it'll be just fine.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Traditionally, the 18th hole is one of the more difficult finishing holes on a golf course. That has not been the case this week at Upper Montclair, so good scoring opportunity perhaps lying ahead. This is Megan Kang. This is her shot at birdie. Megan Kang settling there, perhaps for par as we get back to the tee.
Minjee Lee fairway wood as well. Took off on a little more direct line to the center of the fairway. She liked it.
A lot to like. She's really kept a game face on the entire day, regardless of the fact that she hasn't put up a lot of birdies. So she doesn't look flapped at all.
Just a long iron for Lexi. Probably the 2, Morgan.
Yeah, she's so steep with her swing that she's able to get a lot of height on these long driving irons.
Yeah, she puts the long in long iron, that's for sure. That's the left side of the fairway, though.
She really has played a very steady round of golf today, giving herself a lot of looks. Not a single drop shot on the card. It's coming down to the 18th at Upper Montclair. Stay with us. Final round coverage of the Cognizant Founders Cup continues. Minjee Lee with a 1-shot lead as the final group is on the final hole. Just a reminder, you're watching golf right now. If you're looking for rugby, you can find it on the NBC Sports app or at NBCSports.com. But you may want to stick around here for just a few moments. We'll see if we can crown a champion here at the Cognizant Founders Cup. This is a young event with a very, very lofty list of champions. In fact, everyone who has won here has either been a major champion or was en route to becoming one. And Minjee Lee was able to capture her first major last summer at Evian-les-Bains in France at the Amundi Evian Championship. Mention the pedigree of this young woman, Morgan, a former #1 ranked amateur in the world. She won the 2016 U.S. Junior Girls. Her brother Minwoo won the 2016 U.S. Junior Boys. Minjee won the girls edition in 2012. So they are the only brother-sister combination in history to tout those 2 titles. I mean, talk about the DNA in this family.
Incredible talent and very natural talent as well. I mean, we certainly think a lot about the Korda sisters out here and Sebastian playing on the ATP Tour, but Minwoo and Minjee have quite the history themselves as well.
And Lexi and her family also. Brothers Nick and Curtis, as we circle back, they're both PGA Tour players in their careers. Curtis active and Nick also a former #1 amateur in the world like Minjee. So they are sizing this one up.
It's 100 to put up here.
We showed the flashback earlier. Minjee went first in the playoff at Evian when she won last year, put the pressure on Lee 6.
Just a little right at the pin, I mean. Before it's perfect.
In that playoff, both players hit the fairway, but it was a shot of her career for Minjee Lee to win it. Second shot at Evian. This advantage Minjee if she's able to get one close. If the number fits her wedges, this is 109, slight uphill lie. She should be able to spin it enough. It will take one first hop. Clipped it very nicely.
Perfect timing.
Wow. Beautiful shot. Just at the right time.
She's very calm. At least on the outside.
That puts a ton of pressure here, Jerry, on Lexi.
It does.
5. Maybe pretty close. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, just like I like it the Cognizant logo. Like that.
Just a 105 with this.
Love that.
Lexi probably can't see quite how close her ball is. Can she, Jerry?
Not just judging by the crowd's reaction. Waiting to see what this wind does. Between clubs, sand wedge and the weak lob wedge. Sand wedge might be the one you have to hit just to maximize the spin and get it close. Just 3 yards closer. 106 hole. It is the weaker of the 2 gap wedges, so you can spin it. But that is coming in low.
Close enough.
You see what's open for a bigger roar up there, but that's not a bad shot.
already with a second place finish this season. In fact, Lexi Thompson has top 8 finishes in 6 of her last 8 worldwide starts, so she is trending. Sagstrom from 87 yards.
87 yards, 58-degree wedge uphill line. That's such a nice sound to it.
A little bit too much spin. Trying to get that one past the hole and pull it back just a bit. It is all about growing the game, honoring the founders, looking ahead to the future. Girls golf, what a nice scene, Morgan.
Yeah, this is a special tradition they've done here at this event. Walking up the 18th. It's just amazing to see the young girls who have been inspired through this tournament and through the rest of the LPGA, USGA girls golf programs around the country. It's awesome. I love it.
You said it's never too late to get your girl involved in the game. You know, I could look back to those years, younger years, for people like me, and think, I wish there were more opportunities for us with girls competition. It's never too late. It's never too late to start that. Give more tournaments to these young girls, more places to practice and play and fall in love with the game. Got to keep it going in the right direction. We look back to the days when the likes of Shirley Spork and Babe Zaharias and Louise Suggs were playing. They were pulling money out of their own purses to create purses for tournaments. And now young girls like this right here can look ahead to perhaps winning a $450,000 first place prize here at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Hopefully more by the time she's old enough to do it.
Yeah, it really is amazing, giving these the phrase of LPGA USGA girls golf, little girls big dreams. I was one of those little girls with a very big dream. Lexi certainly was, Minji, every player out here on the LPGA Tour.
Big putt ahead here for Lexi Thompson, Jerry.
Yeah, and I must make no question about it. That's obvious. But what she knows in the back of her mind is that Minji hasn't seen anything drop today as good a putts as she has hit. So if she's able to coax this one in, and at this point it's less about technique than it is about heart and will. But it's a good look if she can coax it in. That will really, really shrink up the hole.
Didn't play enough break. Not quite able to get it done here for Lexi this week, but still a fantastic performance. She's close. She's so close, Kelly. You have to think it's only a matter of time. And Jerry mentioned heart. She's shown a lot of heart out here this week.
She wouldn't mind waiting for the U.S. Women's Open. That'd be a great story.
Might feel like it owes her one. Nobody's had to deal with more disappointing and publicly disappointing finishes in her young career than Lexi. She handles it great, and she'll be there again, no question. She's got, well, it's not done yet, but beat by someone who was playing a little better golf this week.
So Lexi looking to finish up here at 17 under. If this drops, that's where Madeline Sagstrom will be. Oh, that looked good almost the entire way, just dying off there at the end. Good week for Sagstrom. She'll look back on that triple bogey early in the round, but hopefully shake that off and take great pride in the run that she's been on. 3 straight top 10s for her. At least that statistic is locked up. Let's see if Lexi can tap this in. Ever since seeing Scottie Scheffler at the Masters finish up, I just don't look at these the same way right now.
It's not as easy as it looks, especially with the big lead.
Fortunately, in his case, he had that. And now the stage is set. Minjee Lee, 2 putts for the win. Minjee Lee wins the Cognizant Founders Cup and joins a list of major champions with this title on her resume. A fitting champion in a young tournament that honors the rich, deep history in the women's game. The LPGA Tour, established in 1950, 72 years strong. Minjee Lee, a top 10 player in the world, one of the strong talents today, reaping the benefits of the path laid down by these founders. 25 years old, born in Perth in Australia, and a birthday coming up later this month, and it'll be a nice one for her, Jerry.
It will be indeed. Her first words were hard work. How were you able to stay patient today? Was it as nerve-wracking as it appeared to us watching?
You know, I wasn't really that nervous, but obviously I wasn't striking it as well as I wanted to. But, you know, I still drove it and putted it really well, so I'm going to take the positives.
You mentioned yesterday about it being a nice feeling when you see the fruits of your labor for the hard work paying off. Was this a result of that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel really, really good, and even though I didn't strike it that well today, I'm really, really happy.
When you hit putt after putt, a lot of really good putts, and nothing seemed to be dropping today, how do you stay optimistic moving forward?
You know, I was really concentrating on each shot at a time, so, you know, I got on the putting green and I was like, just trying to see it go in, and, you know, a lot of them kind of lipped out, but you know, at the end of the day I still got the job done, so I'm happy.
And you should be. Congratulations.
Thank you.
2 eagles and 19 birdies for Minjee Lee coming into the day. This week she waited until the 12th hole to make her first birdie of the day and birdie 3 of her last 7, and that vaults her to the top in the race to the CME Globe, projected to move from 12th to 1st. And let's take a look. That beautiful winning putt to cap the day and a magnificent week for the 25-year-old LPGA Tour star. It's been a great week in Clifton, New Jersey. Tip of the cap to Upper Montclair Country Club, Morgan.
A wonderful host. Excited to be here for the next few years, at least for the Cognizant Founders Cup, and a great champion this week in Minjee Lee.
Maybe a future champion in that pack as well. Hopefully another young girl was inspired today. Many. We celebrate our founders. We celebrate our champion in Minjee Lee. Another great week of golf at the Cognizant Founders Cup. For Morgan Pressel, Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Karen Stupples, and our entire hardworking crew, we thank you for being with us. Congratulations to Minjee Lee of Australia with her 7th career LPGA Tour title. I'm Kelly Tillman saying so long for now.